This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central this evening with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. Coming at you loud and clear, strong and long, because we never go wrong. First things first, you know what to do. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like. If you're on the tube, give us a thumbs up. And last but not least, don't be like them meats. At least give us a shout out to your friends and your family. If you don't mind, we don't want to make for another plea. But we do want to see that you do us righteously. Meanwhile, proverb for today. Let's see what I got for today. Okay, I'm working on a new system for pulling these proverbs up. When you take a chance and dance on the graves of your ancestors, do you ever worry that they may not take kindly to your dancing? Maybe you should. Yes, think about that. Before you go and dance on the graves of your ancestors, you might just want to take a minute to think about it. Just take a minute to think about it. Might not be the best idea that you've ever come up with. Meanwhile, let's see what we got for a slideshow for today. Oh yes, oh yes. We've got none other than the Hoodoo Man. That's right, because we're going to deal with a little hoodoo voodoo. Some hoodoo voodoo. Now, who do we have today? We're back with Jackie Torrance once again from Jackie Tales, and she's going to share a story with us using me as the medium. Let's see which one we got for tonight. Oh, as a matter of fact, we didn't finish the one from last night, so we got to finish this one from last night. So let's work on that first things first, okay? While you watch the slideshow featuring the Hoodoo Voodoo Man. So we're talking about Honey Boy. And the sheriff has come to Honey Boy's mama's house and told his mama that he thinks Honey Boy has been shot and killed trying to rob a store. And mom denies this to the nth degree, that if Honey Boy was dead, she would know about it. She would feel his spirit calling her. Let's see if she's right. One to the other, she assured them Honey Boy wasn't the corpse that lay inside that furniture store that night. One after the other until she stood at the door. And there in front of her was none other than James Franklin. Well, she said, here's my boy, James Franklin. James, somebody told me your mama's been ailing. James said, yes, ma'am. She ain't feeling none too good, as a matter of fact, right now she's feeling kind of poorly. Well, James, now you listen here, you little scutter you. You come over and cut some wood tomorrow, and I'll make your mama some chicken and dumplings. She always likes my chicken and dumplings. Don't you forget now. He says as he looks down, yes'm. And he stepped back, not sure what to say or do. The sheriff opened the door. Two deputy sheriffs bowed their heads, removed their hats, and walked in front of the old woman. There stood a gurney with a white sheet across it. The sheriff took his bulk around the other side. Miss Jessie, he said, uneasy, I sure enough hate to ask you to do this. I done seen it, and this here is horrible. It's horrible to look at. But I need you to do it, Miss Jessie. Miss Jessie said, now, Sheriff, come on and sit down. I'm an old woman. I done seen many horrible things in my life. One more ain't gonna hurt me none. She said, now tell me what you want me to do. He said, well, ma'am, I'm gonna pull the sheet off for you. I want you to look at this body, and I want you to tell me if you recognize who it is. Sheriff, I can move the sheet my daggone self. She picked up the end of the sheet, still watching the sheriff. She pulled it slowly back over the body. And then she looked down at the body. Never changing the expression on her face. She leaned over and she looked at the birthmark. She looked at the face that was no longer there. And she looked at what she could see of the body. And once she'd done all of this looking, once again, she lifted both hands, took the sheet, and pulled it back across the body. Had you been watching her, you could just barely see the right hand begin to shake uncontrollably as she stood back and she said to the sheriff, that ain't my boy. That ain't my boy. The sheriff said, ma'am, did you look at him? Did you take a good look at him? See the birthmark? Can't you tell me? Can't you tell me for sure? Sheriff, a mama knows her child. I don't know who this is, but it ain't my child. Miss Jessie, all right, ma'am. I had to take your word for it. And then the sheriff turned to the deputies. Arrest James Franklin for murder. Oh, no. And the plot thickens. The deputies put their hats back on their heads, bowed politely to Miss Jessie, and left the room. Miss Jessie turned slowly to the door. The sheriff placed his hand beneath her arm. When she staggered just a bit and they walked slowly toward the door, you could hear outside, no, go back. Tell her to look again. She knows it's Honey Boy. James Franklin said, she knows it's him. Dead or alive, it said, I killed my best friend and you owe me $5,000. The screen door opened slowly and Miss Jessie walked to the edge of the steps. James Franklin stood up. She walked toward him and she whispered, don't you forget now, James. Your mama needs chicken and dumplings. You come out and cut that wood for me. And then she turned away and walked to the car. The men pulled their hats from their heads, took huge gray handkerchiefs from their pockets, and they wiped their faces. She got into the car, looking only straight ahead. The sheriff turned the car away from the curb, and he drove out of town. As they drove along, she said, Sheriff, can I ask you something? Why, sure. Go ahead, ma'am. What is it? When somebody ain't got family like that, boy, ain't got nobody tall. How do you bury him? Oh, Miss Jessie, now don't you worry about that. You see, we got us a potter's field, and the county pays for the burial. Oh, Sheriff, that's good. You know, I think all human beings should be buried decently. He said, yes'm. He stopped the car at her gate and he started to get out, but she touched his arm. It's all right, Sheriff, she said. I've been going in and out of this house some 60 odd years. I can make it all right, all on my own. I just want to say I'm sorry I couldn't help you anymore. Oh, Miss Jessie, don't you worry. You done good. Real good. I'm sorry I had to put you through all that. She said, I'll be all right. You just go on. He said, now, are you sure? Oh, yes, Sheriff. I'm fine. Real fine. She got out, she leaned over, and she waved. As the sheriff backed the car down the driveway, she stood there watching as the dust went into swirls and settled on the other side of the road onto the leaves. Nobody could see the tears as they met down beneath her chin and dropped to her blouse. She turned around, blinded by her tears. She fumbled the gate open, stumbling from one side of the walkway to the other. She finally got to the stoop. She walked up the steps, pushed the door open, and walked across the room to touch the radio. All she could say was, honey boy, honey boy. That's all I could do for you, son. That's all I could do for you. And that's the end of that. Oh, yeah. Now, you talk about a scary story. Maybe there's a lesson in that story, though. Maybe, just maybe, you ought to think twice before you go shooting your best friend for cash money. Maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be like Judas Iscariot in the Bible. Maybe, just maybe, you ought to think twice before you go and pull that trigger and blow his head off. Maybe, just maybe, because it might come back to haunt you. You just don't know. But Miss Jessie do. Miss Jessie knows all about it. Now, I hope that didn't scare the bejesus out of you, because that was a pretty scary story. But trust and believe, we've got more scary stories in store for you. And we'll be back tomorrow night with another. So make sure to be here at 9 o'clock. We may not start right at 9, but we're going to be right here, round about 9 o'clock, that bewitching hour. So make sure you're here. Make sure you subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel, because that's the best way to know exactly when we come on the air. Subscribe today. Do it without delay. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow ain't going to bring you nothing but sorrow. And in the meantime, all you little children need to take your little heads, lay them down on your little pillow, on your little bed. Close those your eyes while you wait on that sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you'll know that it's time for you to rise and shine, oh children of mine. And all you adults have already got your marching orders, so I don't need to say not one more thing. I don't even need to drop a dime because you already know what to do. Peace out without a doubt. We'll be back tomorrow with a new playlist. Playlist for tomorrow, our updated playlist for tomorrow is none other than our scary stories. That's right. We got a scary story playlist coming up tomorrow. Tune in at noon and check it out. And hopefully you won't be too scared. Good night to everybody out there, especially Imani Zaire. We see you over there.